Hi there, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant with a stamp highlight card showcasing the new Mini Messages stamp set and the Mini Tags coordinating dies. I've used 3 of the tag shapes here today with 3 messages and then combined them with some All Prettied Up die cut shapes and Lunar Animals die cut or stamped image and die cut. I have die cut a rectangle using the All Prettied Up scalloped rectangle. I die cut this from some Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, and then I'm just tracing the circle outline here. I'm creating a shaker tag. This is actually going to be the back of the shaker tag, and I want to color only the area inside the circle. I don't really need to color the entire rectangle. I'm applying Blueprint Sketch Distress ink, and then I'll blend some tumbled glass distress ink into this. To cover the majority of the circle area, I'm going to leave the very tip top not colored, so it will kind of gradually go from white to tumbled glass to the blueprint sketch. I'm using a circular motion to apply the ink. It doesn't have to look very pretty outside of that circle because none of that is going to be seen. Only what is inside the pencil line there is actually ever going to be seen on the card. This is the tumbled glass distress ink. I'm blending that into the blueprint sketch. You can see I just left a little bit there without any ink at the top. Then I'm going to spritz this with water to give it some even additional distressing, and then set that aside to air dry while I work on the rest of the card. From some smooth white cardstock, I'm going to take that same scallop frame from the All Prettied Up die collection and then the scalloped circle, and I'm going to die cut those together rather to create the front of the shaker card. Originally I thought I die cut those tags from white cardstock, but I did switch to black cardstock, so I'll just save those for another project. I'm going to remove my post-it tape that I used to hold those dies in place to get it perfectly aligned. Then you can see how that's going to look there. From some khaki cardstock, I'm going to cut the cardboard box from the All Prettied Up die collection. And then using the Gathered Twigs Distress ink, I'm going to add some distressing to the edges of this cardboard box. And it's really going to give it a more dimensional look. I love the way this looks. So focusing on the crease in the box and the edges, I'm darkening those up quite a bit, and then going with a little lighter hand on the rest of the box. So there's one section of the box. I'm going to take the lid now, and I want to mask off just a little bit of it so that it isn't all super dark, that inside piece, so that I can do the edges of the front flaps of the cardboard box. So go ahead and finish doing all of those really quickly. Then I can remove my masks. Kind of want to be careful so I don't tear it. And then I will do this back edge of the box as well. And then that back crease, I can just bend that and apply some ink directly to that. Next, I have stamped the puppy from the Lunar Animals stamp set on that scrap inside portion piece of white cardstock from the front panel of the shaker, and I'm coloring it in with some Copic markers. I'm using E40 as the base color, then E44 is my darkest color, and E43 is the mid-tone color. I'll just work with those 3 shades, blending after adding each shade there until I get the look that I want, and then I'll add some dot detail to give him a little bit of texture, and finish with a little R00 on the cheeks. You can go over it as many times as you need to. This is a little softer look than I usually do for a little brown dog or puppy. I liked this combination of markers. I thought it was a nice little soft, more muted look. Starting with my darkest marker, I added some dots and then my mid-tone. And that R00 for the cheeks. I'll skip over to the hat, which is R24 and 29. The Santa hat is from the Arctic Penguins stamp set. I love how it fits with the Lunar Animals. Then I'll die cut both of those images using the coordinating Lunar Animals and Arctic Penguins dies. And then I can start putting the whole thing together. So I also die cut a scalloped rectangle from Transparency. I'm going to add adhesive on the back of my front shaker panel. I'm going to peel off any of that backing paper from the Transparency and attach my window to that Transparency. That'll be the front of the shaker. Next, I'm going to take some glue dots and attach my cardboard box to the front of the window shaker. So instead of placing my stamped and die cut elements inside the shaker, they're all going to be on the outside of the shaker for this card, and the shaker material will be on the inside. Again, I'm going to add some glue dots. These are the smaller glue dots for the top of the box. This is such a great die. You can do so many different things with this. I think the cardboard box is really unique. And I missed that little section there, that little perforated line, so I inked it up with the Gathered Twigs Distress ink and then attached the front of my box there. Next, I'm going to put some glue dots on the back of the puppy and tuck him inside of that cardboard box. And I'll attach the hat as well. I'm going to add a little glossy accents to his nose. And then a little Sakura black gel pen for the eyes to really make them pop. Here's that Santa hat attached with some small bling-sized glue dots. And then I can go ahead and stamp my greetings for this card. I've die cut several tag designs from black cardstock and I'm just going over them with a powder tool. And then I'm going to stamp 3 separate greetings using the Mini Messages stamp set. And I'm going to sprinkle on different embossing powders for each tag. So one of them is going to be white. The next one is going to have the heart and then say Santa, and I will emboss it with red. And the last tag will say ho ho ho, and I'm going to emboss that with the Ranger Liquid Platinum. Just an assortment. You could definitely do all of one color if you wanted to. Once I have all the embossing powder on those, I will heat set those with my heat tool. Here's that last one. I originally started with 2 and then decided I needed 3. I thought that 3 would look a little bit better hanging there from the box. And then I'm going to use some really thin string to tie through each of my tags. I'm going to hang a couple of them from the edge of the box, securing them with some glue dots. And then for the last tag that will kind of be on top of the others, I'll just tie that one into a bow. So I'm just securing little links of string through these 2 tags, going to knot the ends, hang them from the edge of the box, and just secure with a glue dot underneath the tag. You could secure with a little glossy accents or a smaller glue dot up near the top of the tag if you wanted to. Here's tying that bow in the last one. It will kind of hide too if it's a little less than perfect, those other 2 strings hanging from the box. Work to get that bow perfect. Snip the ends and attach that with a glue dot. To secure the bow so that it doesn't come undone, place a little glossy accents over the knot. And then I am going to flip that panel over once the glossy accents has dried and place 2 layers of foam tape, one right on top of another, all the way around the back of the panel. This is going to create that well for the shaker. I'm going to do each of the long sides first. And my foam tape was just a little too wide for the edges, so I did have to trim it down just a little bit. Go ahead and place these 2 pieces at the bottom. And then I'll do that last piece at the top. You want to make sure the foam adhesive butts up right next to each other so that it creates a good well for the shaker material and nothing will escape. Take a powder tool around the edges so that the shaker material doesn't stick to the shaker. And then I sprinkled in some sparkling clear and marshmallow Pretty Pink Posh seed beads. I'll remove the foam adhesive and take the backer to the front to finish the shaker. I'll simply attach that to a white card base and this card is finished. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the Mama Elephant mini messages and mini tags, stamps, and dies. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Thanks for watching.